Hi guys, I left the house. I actually went out into the world today. So it's been a week last night since I had my surgery, and I had the one of the support groups that I facilitate in town this morning, and I needed to get out of the house. So one of the lovely ladies actually offered to pick me up. Well, I asked if anybody could pick me up, and she offered to pick me up and drive me home, which was a very good move on my part. I think a taxi would have been too bumpy. And as I mentioned in yesterday's video, there's no way I could have walked it yet. Even though it's only like 10 or 12 blocks away, I am just not there yet. But it was nice to actually, get into real clothing, wear some jewelry today. I feel kind of better. And yeah, it was nice to actually get out. I was able to have like half of my cup of tea and about a quarter of my muffin, and I was full. I'm done. So anyway, yeah, it was nice to get out and just have some grown-up time and just be out of the house. My neighbor, when we came back, she actually was walking back with her son from the corner store, and she's like, "Oh my God, you're dressed! You're out of pajamas! You actually, you're good! You look great!" So that was pretty cool to hear that. But what I wanted to do was just quickly share with you one of the big topics that we did talk about this morning was actually about IEPs. For those that don't know, it's an Individualized Education Plan, and the mom that was there was hoping to get her son's IEP set up or updated, I guess I should say, before the end of the school year, because we finish here at the end of this month. And so she asked for some help with me. So we actually went through, and one part of it that she felt didn't reflect her son's ability was the mathematics portion of the academics. And basically what it came down to was making sure that each of the sections for the mathematics actually reflects where he is academically. So he's in grade 4 on a modified academic schedule because he has autism. And the IEP states that he needs to have I don't think it's a grade, but he has to fulfill a number 3, which I don't know why they changed it years ago from A, B, C, D, E, F to, 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever. So what they want is for him to get a 3, which I think is about the equivalent of a C for what we know as when we went to school, at a grade 1 level for each of the math subsections. So anyway, what after talking with her, she said that actually her son has not only finished grade 1, but has done grade 1, 2, and 3 curriculum all this year and has understood it and learned it and knows what he's doing. So basically she was looking for some direction as to how to get that in the IEP, because math is his strong suit, and she doesn't want him starting grade 5 next year with the teacher going and keeping him down at a curriculum of grade 1. So this is actually something that happens a lot for our kids. And if parents aren't watching out for what's actually written in the IEPs, they can end up doing the same subject over and over and over again at the same academic level, because, or I should say, just because our kids don't learn or assess or test in the same way as their peers do in the classroom, because he is actually in a mainstream classroom, unlike my son, who is in an autism specific class. The new teacher every year basically just looks at the IEP from the last year and then goes from there. Otherwise, if they don't look at the IEP, they tend to just assume that he or she has no academic ability. and just kind of starts with that. And it's so sad when they do that because they are discounting our kids so much. So the big thing that I worked with her on for this IEP was to actually make all of the sections of it SMART. And SMART being S for specific, M for measurable, A for attainable, R for relevant, and T for timely. So with them actually stating in the IEP that they were just expecting the equivalent of a C at grade 1 academics for math, which is his strong suit. Like, he apparently, this little boy actually does math to calm himself down when he's starting to get overwhelmed with extrasensory kind of behaviors. He'll do math to calm down. So to be expecting him to do grade 1 math in grade 4 is not, it's not appropriate. So she's going to go in, and we kind of worked through each section. There was one section of math that I can't think of what the section itself was, but it related to kind of how outside, or no, sorry, it was part of science, how outside influences affect our own actions. So something like, if it's raining outside, how does that affect us personally? So it might be that you put a rain jacket on, or that farmers can't go and seed their land that day and stuff like this. So it's making that non-concrete connection. So that was like the only section of the whole IEP that we just have to find out and get feedback from the teacher as to whether, like, what grade level they're at, this little boy is at. Because for everything in his IEP, it was listed as grade 1. Whereas he's in grade 4 and has, as I mentioned, finished all the curriculum activities for grades 1, 2, and 3 this school year for math. So it was interesting to go through, and the SMART goals is really what keeps our teachers and the schools in check and gives them something to actually aim towards. And it also helps us as parents ensure that they are being accountable, and that our kids are not falling through the cracks. One of my neighbors, I talk about her a lot on this channel, actually, and I am trying to convince her to come on, so keep giving her some love down below. But her oldest has autism, and I think it was it last school year, I think now, there was some issues at school, and something wasn't sitting right with her. She told me about it, and I'm like, what are the IEPs from the last few years? Because this is not representing what he can do academically. And so she pulled out the IEPs from previous years, and they actually, last school year was grade 4 for him. They actually had in the IEPs that they were expecting more from my neighbor's son in grade 1 than they were in that academic year. So once she actually, once I pointed this out to her and gave her the language and walked her through everything, especially walking through the SMART goals for each of the subsections, she had some power to go back to the school and say, look, here's the deal, and here's what I feel my child is actually capable of achieving. Because at the end of the day, the mom or dad, who is the primary parent, whichever one it is, typically from my experience, it's the mom, but there are a lot of dads who are extremely involved with their child's academics as well. Typically, they can go in and make sure that the school is actually working with them, with their child, and helping their child succeed in school. Because at the end of the day, that's what we want. We want our kids to enjoy school. We want them to be able to learn. We want them to be able to have fun and go through all of the same stuff that any other child does in class. So anyways, I just wanted to share with you kind of the importance of ensuring that these IEPs are set up with SMART goals for our kids. And I think I'm actually going to be working on workshops in the fall for people that would like more information. And I can actually do it via Skype as well, if that helps for people that aren't local. And just kind of, it's so important to be able to read these IEPs, understand the IEPs, understand the language that is being used in these IEPs, and understand how these IEPs are used within the school system to be able to help our children. And it's so important for everything, for our child's academic success as well. Because you know what? We want our kids to graduate. It's very simple, just like any other parent does. We want our kids to be able to go through school, learn great stuff, and graduate. It's simple. So there's my little rant for the day, whatever you want to call it. But that was the big focus this morning in our support group, and I wanted to share it with others in case you're going through it as well with your child. IEPs tend to not be dealt with at this time of year. It tends to be in the fall. In our school district, it has to be done within the first, I think it's 42 or 45, I can't remember right now, school days of the school year. So basically by the end of October, it has to be updated. And a lot of parents have to learn how to read it. And just, I've been there, done that. For both of the twins. So it's something that I know and can help others with. So let me know in the comments below if you have any issues with your child's IEP, or what your feelings are towards your kid's IEP, because everybody is dealing with it differently. I'm not sure if all school boards are at the beginning of every school year. I think they are. But ours is lucky to be, has to be done by the end of October. And if it isn't, then they're actually breaking the law, which, don't do that. Be nice to us. Be nice to us. Be nice to our kids. And do what you're supposed to. It's very simple. Anyways, talk to you guys later. Bye.